Stop, cat.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, to our workshop, today. So I'm really glad to host this workshop today. I'm coming to you from the other side of the world. I think most of you are from the US, if I'm not right. If I am right, if you can share with me in the chat, where are you coming from? I'm coming from Saudi Arabia. Wisconsin, Washington State, US. Welcome. Welcome everyone who is joining. We are sharing where is everyone from. I'm coming to you from Saudi Arabia, specifically from the city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia. All right. Amber, should we start or should we wait?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So can you see my screen or?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Just give me 1 minute, please.
Okay.
Yeah. How about now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, perfect. So hi everyone, welcome to our workshop today, Empowering Self and Others, Creating Empowering Workplaces. I am really honored to be walking you through this empowering journey today. And my hope for you today is just to take even one thing that might empower you or give you a slight shift or and uplift and make you work through your empowering journey and make you work more and become more closer to the empowered version of yourself. So my name is Bayan Kutub. I am coming from Saudi Arabia. I'm certified diversity executive, and I am really thankful for the IDC for offering me this opportunity to offer this workshop for you. So today we're going to talk about power and empowerment, and we will going to discuss what power, privilege, oppression are and how they how can they affect our empowerment journey, and of course what affect our empowerment and what makes us empowered and disempowered is how society perceive our identities. So we have two identities that we are going to dismantle: agent group and target group, and then we're going to walk through the agent group empowering skills development and do some reflections on that. and the other group, which is the target group, we're going to define them and then walk you through the skills for this target identity and offer some reflective questions for you. After that, we will go into empowerment in the workplace and see what's the framework for empowerment in the workplace really. And it comes into four things, which is first mindset, second thing is spaces, third is discourses, and the fourth is practices. So our stories of empowerment root back to our childhood, and I'd like to share my story of empowerment with you. So my story of empowerment, or rather disempowerment, is rooted back to my childhood, where I was growing up here in the city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia. If you don't know where Mecca is or what's its significance, it's very significant for Muslims because it is the space where it is the location where the Qibla, where all Muslims perform their prayer toward. So it has its very religious importance within the Muslim community all around the world. So it's the place where we do the pilgrimage to once a year, but once per lifetime during specific time in a year, and one time per on life for all Muslims. So I grew up in the 80s, 90s. The society was very reserved, very patriarchal narratives and mindset. So my upbringing conditioned me, I think, as many women, to be the good girl who won't draw attention to her, who don't be too much, who follows the expectations, and who should be unseen. We should like not only like put our headscarves, we were commanded to cover our faces back then. So as the conditioning of the good girl, make no noise and follow what's expected from you. Being myself with my introverted personality, going with the flow. I didn't draw attention. I played by the rules, and I did everything that was expected from me. Finished school, finished college, got married afterward. So after getting married, with my husband, we moved into Australia to pursue our postgrad studies. And I didn't really feel anything was like weird because everyone like in Saudi Arabia was like that, you know. But when I went to Australia, I saw other cultures and it was like kind of a shock for me. Now my Muslim identity, that is like, that was the norm. Everyone was Muslim when in Saudi Arabia was becoming now a minority. Yeah, after that, 2008, we went to Australia. After that, 2012, we moved to Canada, stayed there for 5 years. And to pursue, my husband did his PhD, I did another master's. And over there, I realized how my Muslim identity was a minority. I was starting to question how we can provide more spaces for this Muslim community. So I started to have lots of questioning about my identity and other people, minorities' identity. I became to see oppression and social injustice. And in fact, I was studying that because I was doing Masters of Education Studies. So lots of social topics I have been studying over there. So I did my master's over there and I took my thesis into all the questionings that I had on my cultural identity. So I was questioning how do we navigate our cultural identity within the university. How about other Muslims? How about other students who carry different cultural and religious identities? Do they feel included in the higher education institution? Do they feel welcomed? What should the university do to make the campus more inclusive for different students. So I had a space to speak up. Remember, I told you I used to be not speaking up. I used to be the good girl when I was in Saudi Arabia, but in Canada, like in Australia, I was grasping everything. In Canada, I started to find that no, we have the language to speak up for those who are minoritized. But 2017, we finished our study journey, came back to Saudi Arabia, came back to the same culture, same people. My mindset has shifted, but the people were there were not. Like 2017, women were not allowed to drive yet. Um, the um, the policy came in 2018 to allow women to drive. So it was the country was changing. If you know what's going on in Saudi Arabia, it's huge, it's changing, but it was at the start of change. So we as people didn't feel it. Like, and I retrieved it back into the person or that girl, good girl who would follow the norm, who cannot speak. I couldn't find the language to advocate for people who are minoritized in Arabic, really. I went into depression, I can say that. And I had time where I retrieved back into myself. And to be honest, thinking about it, there were three things that had led me into this empowerment. The first thing was um, the environment. Coming back to my culture, where stereotypical lifestyles, certain job for women, certain visibilities for uh, for women and mothers, it was changing, but it was the start of the change. So I drifted back into the default of the good girl who doesn't want to upset or offend anyone around her by speaking her truth, by advocating for others, for those who don't have access to rights as other people. So the environment was changing, but I retrieved back because that was where I grew up. Secondly, the language. I couldn't find the language that I would use, like all sexism, racism. I was trying really hard to find my ways. Like my thinking of social justice was in English in my mind, not in Arabic. So I don't say that they were not non-existent. Of course they were, but I wasn't familiar, not as popular in English, but I wasn't familiar with these social terms back in 2017. The empowerment and advocate vocabularies were not as common in Arabic as much as in English and in the West. So until recent years. Another thing is myself. Really, empowerment comes from the self. And I didn't have the strength to use my voice publicly. I lacked empowerment myself. However, I have gained that. And I want to say that the culture of Saudi Arabia has changed more into empowerment. And I don't say that just for saying. I say that for because it's real. Now I drive my car. Now it was like it was just a dream, just to drop your kids to school by yourself. We had to have male drivers to drive us to where we want to go. So now I am empowered. Many women are empowered in Saudi Arabia. Many women are taking leadership positions that were not permitted for them before. So that was my story, and I would like from you to reflect, if possible, in the chat. Can you recall a time, whether in your childhood or later, when you felt unheard, overlooked, or powerless? If that is comfortable, please share it in the chat. If not, just reflect personally. And if you, please, Amber, can help me reading the chat, I would be grateful.
Of course. Let's see.
I understand this might be something that is personal, and if you don't have, if you don't want to share, it's okay. So
We have one comment always. I'm in an industry where men outnumber women.
yeah, I know how that feels.
As a Black woman attending a predominantly white college, I felt unheard at times during class or in a group project.
Yeah, I have been in lots of situations like that where I have been the only woman, and I totally understand that. So, on the positive side, what was something or someone that helped you regain your confidence and or strength regarding regarding your experiences as disempowered? For me, I would say that I have joined online communities in 2020 that have helped me regain my voice and speak up and do a lot of inner works. No worries. My prior supervisor in the I department of a state agency, she brought me a long way. Wow, that's great to have someone like that. Anyone else? Okay, so let's talk about power and empowerment. So what is power? Power is the degree of control over material, human, intellectual, and financial resources exercised by different sections of the society. So power is really about control. Who have access to resources, whether material like money and land, human resources like labor and networks, intellectual resources like knowledge and education, and financial resources like investments and funding. While empowerment refers to increasing the power of low power groups so that it is equal to the higher power group. So empowerment is about shifting power so that those with less power can access the same resources and opportunities as those who have with more power. So it's not about taking power away from others, but it's about creating fairness among all. And we can imagine. Excuse me for a second. The presentation is not working. So can you see the picture? Power versus empowerment.
Yes.
There's the picture, yeah. So imagine two teams playing basketball. So one team has a perfect court, smooth floor, high quality hoops, proper lighting, while the other team, their court has crooked pavement, broken hoops, and poor lighting. Who is more likely to win? Of course, the team with better resources, right? So the team with perfect court has power because they have better resources. So material, financial, and human. So they don't have to work hard to succeed. Sorry, they don't have to work hard to succeed. The system is already set up in their favor. On the other hand, empowerment means fixing the second team part so that both teams have fair access, fair conditions, and fair access to resources. So it's not about making the first team weaker, not at all. It's about giving the second team equal opportunities to succeed. So can you share with me what does empowerment mean to you in the chat? When you think about empowerment, what does it mean? Uplifting others or to feel confident? Yeah. Empowerment to me means feeling free to be my authentic self. That's true. So you empower yourself. When you empower yourself, you have the opportunity to empower others. Yeah. And also because when we are not our authentic self, we cannot be empowered. We hide and we don't exercise our authentic self within the society. So what is power, privilege, and oppression, and what's the relationship among the three? So as we said, power is the ability to influence and make decisions that impact others. It might include access to services, resources, and goods. So power is who gets to decide. Power is about influence. Who gets to make decisions that affect others? So imagine you're in a group project. The person who picks the topic, who divides the work, who make final decisions, he is the one who has power. Privilege is the automatic unearned advantages that an individual may receive based on some dimensions of their identity. So privilege is like running a race where some people start closer to the finish line. It's not about working hard, it's about the automatic advantages they have because of their identity. So privilege and power are closely related. Privilege often gives a person or group power over others. Oppression, on the other hand, is formed and repeated over time that disadvantages a group of people. So oppression is barriers that people have that hold them back. Oppression is when power is used unfairly to limit opportunities to some people. And I want you to think of imagine life as the board game that we all, I'm sure, know, Snake and the Ladder. Some people get the ladders that help them move up quickly, right? That's privilege. Other people get rope tied to their pieces, so slowing them down. So that's oppression. So the game isn't fair, and recognizing this is the first uh, step toward making changes. So, for example, a person who is born in a wealthy family may have a ladder to better education, to better job connection, to better job, and have lots of connections that elevate that person to better opportunities. A woman in a male-dominated industry may face ropes, may face bias, may have fewer promotion than other people, than other males. And some people have both ladders and rope, and I think all of us have, depending on their or our identities. So now we will talk about two groups, an agent group and target group. And just very simply, agent group is the target group. Sorry, I'm sorry. Can you give me 1 second? Yes. So agent group is the one who has privileges. And target group is the ones who have oppressions. And we have, for the American society or demographics, we have for the acronym addressing. So age, disability, religion, ethnicity, social class, and culture, sexual orientation, indigenous and ancestry, national origin, and gender. So what do you think are some of the characteristics of the Asian groups, the people who have privilege? Can you please share in the chat, what do you think the Asian group, some of their characteristics, what do they have?
Resources.
Yeah, resources.
Mhm.
What else?
Knowledge and experience.
That's true, knowledge and experience. What else?
Willing team members.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Willing team members.
Willing team members. No worry, Amber. Yeah, so Asian group are the one who has privileges, who have access to opportunities without without doing anything really. So let's see what are the characteristics for those Asian group. Yeah, so those people are, or the privileged people are overvalued, seen as the norm, and has of course unearned advantages, and receive consistent affirming messages to their identity rather than oppressing messages like encouraging messages, uplifting. And they get easy to be promoted and have positive representation in the media and expect their needs to be met. So on the other side, the target group, what do you think their characteristic would be? So contrary to Asian group, what do you think target group characteristics are? Unprivileged or marginalized, yes. Yeah, you summed it up. Yes, it's all opposite of Asian group, so under-resourced, that's true. Yeah, she summed it up really. So target groups are devalued, seen as the other, are marginalized, have more restrictions to access opportunities, we find less representation of them in the media, negative or stereotyped representations, and their needs are often not addressed. And happy to say that we all have some empowered parts of our identity and disempowered. So some dimensions of our identities are empowered and others are not. No one is 100% empowered. No one is 100% advantaged or privileged, and no one is 100% disempowered or marginalized. Yeah, it's not like black and white. It's rather shades between two polarities. So empowerment, we have to know that empowerment is not only for socially and historically marginalized people. Socially and historically privileged people need to be empowered too because they carry some aspect of their identities that are target, as we said, target group. So empowerment, I have to argue here, is the heart of diversity and inclusion. When individuals from these diverse backgrounds are empowered, it can lead to more inclusive environment where their voices are heard, their perspectives are valued, and they have equal access to opportunities and resources. So here, I know it's full. The one in the left, the table on the left, have um, the normal Asian group in US. So the empowered or the privileged people who are adults, are able person, religious mostly Christian, ethnicity is white and white Euro American, social class and culture, middle and middle class, and people who have access to higher education, sexual orientation, heterosexual, indigenous ancestry is non-native, and national origin citizens and gender man, while target group is the other. And here in this table, I have written my own identities. So I am an adult, I am an able person. My religion is minority in the UK. It's not in Saudi Arabia, I'm sorry, in the US or in the West, not in Saudi Arabia. My ethnicity is not white American, so, and my social class, I have advantage for my social class and for my sexual orientation and for my indigenous ancestry. But I'm not a citizen in the US and my gender is not the measure. So I want you to do that. I will give you 2 minutes. Just, I'm not sure if 2 minutes or if it's just like you can do it in less than that. Just write, do the checks for your identities. What parts of your identities are empowered or agent, and what parts of your identities are disempowered or target? Everyone is okay? Should we move? Please write yes if you're done. Okay. So I want you now to choose a, just give me 1 second. I want you now to choose a target identity you ascribe to focus on, because now I will take you through the skills that each target identity would go through. So choose one identity that has shaped your experiences in the workplace or in life generally to focus on. Keep it in mind so that when I explain next, you have that identity in mind and reflect on it. So first, we're going to focus on the target identity, the one that is devalued, the one that is marginalized, that is seen as the other, not norm. So target group, as I said, is the social group that is devalued, marginalized, and seen as the other. And there are skill sets that I have benefit from Letitia Nito, and here is her book, sorry. She has developed this theory for the target and the agent group. So there are 5 skill sets that a person or a target identity go through when it comes to empowerment. So the first one is the skill of survival. And here you can see it's agent-centric skill rather than agent-relative skill. So at this phase, members of the target group are in survival mode. So they respond with the behavior that are permitted within the system. So at this stage, you just try to stay alive in relative safety. So what you do, you conform to agent expectation by either approximating your agency by blending in, approximating agency, I mean the agent group, or by fitting into the stereotype that they have about this identity. So, so you conform to the agent's expectations. So you think, move, and talk like a person who has agent membership, or you try to fit in the stereotype of that target group. Sometimes people exaggerate to show that stereotypical identity. So, and they don't even realize that they are doing it. So they adapt or hide their voices, words, actions, expressions, and appearances to align with the views and expectations of the agent member or the dominant group. So they may even become mouthpieces. They even may become mouthpieces for the agent group at this stage, publicly stating, I don't experience oppression, I don't know what other folks are complaining about. So at this stage, as we are as target member, we criticize ourselves. So we criticize ourselves and we have internalized oppression toward ourselves and our identity that is marginalized. Okay, another thing is that we have horizontal oppression, which is we discriminate against other people who carry the same target member that we have, who carry the same identity that is marginalized as we carry. So example is, I don't experience, somebody would say, I don't experience oppression. I don't know what other folks are complaining about. So any questions regarding this state? Yeah, that's true, Catherine. There are all of us carry both identities, the target and the agent. So far, so good. So we go to the next phase, which is confusion. So confusion is the second stage for the target group, or as Letitia Nito said, it's skill, not a stage. So in confusion, we are in a mixture of knowing and not knowing. We know we're facing inequity, but we don't have the language to express it yet, or we don't have the support to make sense of it. So we may contradict ourselves and doubt the evidence of our senses of what we feel, and we might react to feedback from agent group with defensiveness. So so this stage is the stage when we get stuck. So we get stuck between what we know and what we don't know how to do or how to address that. So somebody would say that doesn't seem fair, but there must be a good explanation. So they try to find out why this happens. And of course, there is explanation. No, it's not oppression. Another thing is somebody would say, oh, I'm confused. I don't understand. I'm taking this personally. You may question, did my boss really not hear me? Or was she really ignoring my idea because I'm too young, or because I'm this, or because I'm that? So this is the confusion state. Anyone has question, please go ahead.
Hi, this is Catherine. I was just wanting to sort of say that I think that sort of what I think we're sort of seeing right now is people who have maybe felt some sort of agency in some cases. Like this might even be a place where maybe you felt you were an agent, and then maybe powers change. And when powers change, you maybe start to realize that you're not a full agent, or you start to recognize that, and there's a lot of confusion. And I just think in our current climate right now, there are,
Yeah.
funds being cut, things being happening, things of resources being targeted, that we're losing resources in some places. And what we're seeing as an initial response is a lot of people just freezing. A
Yeah.
lot of people just getting so scared and just freezing because it's such confusion right there in that moment of, I don't understand why this is happening. I can't even take any kind of action. And so I'm just going to freeze.
Yeah, so it's kind of the power play has changed, and then the
Yeah.
agency has shifted into a target, and people are confused and maybe in survival mode. And I'd like to say that all of these stages are not stages by themselves. No, as she says, it's a skill. So like when I have all of the resources and the agency. So I am for this identity. So I am at recentering, the last one. But when I am at stress, when things are happening around, I might retrieve into survival. I might retrieve into confusion. I am the same person who has all of these skills that enables me to create empowerment for the target group. However, things are shifting and are changing, and I am in fear. So in that time, I am in survival. I am in confusion. On the other hand, when I was calm, when I had support, when I was very well, I I can practice my full empowerment, which is recentering or strategy, as we will say. Thank you for your comment. So the next one is empowerment. And now we have shifted from agent-centric skills into agent-relative skills. So now we're not focusing more into agent group. So at empowerment, it takes lots of energy, first of all, from within and without. It feels like waking up from a very deep sleep. For empowerment to take place, we must have access to empowered target-only spaces like ERGs. So empowerment members of the target group create spaces solely for the target group. They come together to seek support, advice, encouragement, and confirmation of their shared experiences. The act of gathering can provide collective clarity and strength to address systems of oppression. So affinity group or ERGs. Any questions for this slide? So moving forward to recentering, to strategy.
I actually do have a comment, and I
Yes,
think
please.
like so often, I really like that coming together to side of things, because I think so often we have, I don't know, I think in like in the culture of the US, oftentimes we talk about independence as being such a value, and that people have to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, or this sort of thing is like, what have you done to succeed on your own? And that really that kind of interconnectedness becoming such a key piece of shared identity, shared togetherness, shared knowledge. I love that that's being put as a skill, because so often there's values of skills that are just like only looking at what an individual can do on their own, when a skill set of interconnectedness and coming together is, I think, really cool. I just liked that. I hadn't thought of it that way before.
Thank you. So now we move from empowerment into strategy, and this is a skill set that helps us know when and how to respond to incidents of inequality or oppression. So we evaluate what works and what doesn't. We acknowledge oppression, the impact and the impact that it has, and we know when and how to respond to incidents. Yeah, as I said, yeah, and intention. We are now more intentional about where we spend our mental and emotional energy. And we realize the potential consequences of our own mental health and the relationship with others, and the probability and extent to which our actions will enact change. So we access to our true power, and we are able to bring that into our daily lives. So an example is to say, it's not is to say, but it's to be in this state is I strive to create a positive impact in combating gender discrimination. So that's a strategy. Any comment or question? Moving into the last skill, which is recentering for the agent group. So target group now define their own identity rather than accepting the story that has been written by others about them. So we request and expect agent group to engage in allyship behavior and hold them accountable for their actions. We tap into our internal energy and power of our identity, so our empowerment comes from within. Example is when disabled community define the policies, rules, and regulations of the disabled rather than accepting what has been like written by others on them. So any question regarding the 5 or comment regarding the 5 so far? If not, I'd like to, as I said before, I requested from you to think about a target identity of yours and see where are you at. Have you been just in survival, or have you moved into empowerment, or how are you in your journey of that particular identity? I want to share mine so that it becomes clear to you. I took the example that I shared in the beginning, which is my cultural and religious identity. So when I was in Australia taking classes back in 2010, I was in survival. I didn't, regarding my culture and religious identity, I didn't know that. But I remember an example where during Ramadan, which we, as Muslims, we fast until the sunset so that we break our fast when the sun sets. So I had classes during that time from 5 p.m. until, I'm not sure, 8 or 9, I forgot. So I was fasting, and it comes the time when the sun sets and it's time to break my fast. But I have been so conscious not to draw any attention, or just not to take a moment for myself just to break my fast, because it's not about eating. It's actually a religious moment. Just to break my fast, I haven't done that. I just have my water bottle where I sit and the class is going on. Just take a sip of water and maybe have a little date without nobody seeing me, so drawing the least attention, not honoring my culture or my religion, just to take a moment and have my breakfast fast. Maybe not just drawing attention to that. So I was in survival during that time. Confusion is when I went to Canada and I started questioning my cultural identity. How do people see me as Muslim, as person who wears hijab? And at the time, there has been lots of incidents around the world of, I don't know, terrorist attacks, and they ascribe these to Muslims. So, and something happened in Canada back then in 2015. So I felt afraid. So we have to perform 5 times prayers. And also during classes, I had to perform one of the prayers in the afternoon. I could just simply, as I do here in Saudi Arabia, grab my prayer mat and go to a quiet room and pray. But over there, I was really afraid to do so. And there was no evidence, like nobody had done anything to me, nobody had discriminated me. But I have these internal thoughts that, oh, what do people say? That I'm going to an empty room by myself. Maybe they think bad of me. I'm trying to steal something, or I'm trying to um, to do something harmful. So I didn't. I just waited until I go home. And even like going home, I was afraid for myself going home at night, walking. Like I thought that my headscarf is revealing of my religious identity. And I was afraid that I would be attacked for someone, because there have been attacks for people who are Muslims because of what's going on. I'm sure you know about it. So moving into empowerment is when I took all of these questions into my research and I translated them into written research, and I really investigated and asked other Arab Muslim students about their experiences. How do they practice their cultural and religious identity on campus? So that was my empowerment state. Moving into strategy is that I after I have investigated how organizations, whether higher institution organization, can create safe spaces for people with marginalized identities, not only for Muslims but only for marginalized identity, and to create safe spaces for them. And I participated in different conferences talking about these issues. Recentering is when I came back, and now part of my recentering is acquiring the IDC certification, becoming certified, and talking about the I topic. I don't say that I am fully in recentering, but like I try to empower myself by these external things. So this is my journey. I'd love for you to take yourself into this journey for yourself, for your identity. And I have written for you some questions to help you form or reflect. So at which stage, like think about that identity in mind. At which stage were you at when you first became aware of this identity and how it impacted your life? So where did you start? So were you in survival as I was, confusion? And then where are you now? What skills or knowledge help you get to this stage? What skills do you need to move forward? Who has empowered you in your journey? What support structure has made a difference? How can you support others who share this identity in their journey? And what does an empowered version of you in this identity would look like? Imagine yourself fully empowered in this identity. What does that version of you do, say, and feel differently? If you like, please take a screenshot if you want to reflect on. I truly encourage to have some time for yourself to reflect on your target identities, disempowered identities, using these guiding prompts. So after this, we will move to the agent identity. Or if anyone want to comment or have a question regarding the target identity, please go ahead. You can write in the chat or you can ask me. So Stephanie says survival then, but empowerment now. I'm just older and careless what others think. Yeah. Yeah, as we get older, we care less about what others say. Thank you for sharing, Stephanie. Okay, so I think it's time to move into the agent. So as we have explored the different skill sets for the target group, they are the same for the agent group. So I want you to do the same. Please reflect on you have done it. You have done it, but I want you to choose one agent identity to focus on during the explanation that I will want to do. So having that in mind, yeah, as I said, choose an identity you aspire to focus on. Having that in mind, we will go through the 5 skill sets for the agent group. And to remember, agent group is the social group that is overvalued and seen as the norm. They are the privileged people. So there are 5 skill sets: indifference, distancing, inclusion, awareness, and allyship. So the first one is indifference. If you have an agent identity, at the beginning, you don't know anything about those who feel or who practice oppression. So agent group are very unaware and don't notice the existence of the target group in their life condition and their life conditions. Even if you are directly talking to that person, it's like not in your radar. So at this stage, of course, you're indifferent and don't know that there is a system of oppression. And it requires the least amount of energy from you because it's a skill you default into as an agent because you don't know anything about those who have opposite of your identity. Example is, I don't know any like those people. I have never met any. There are not any of those people around here. It's just not in your radar. And the physical posture is shrugging the shoulder that says, "It's not my problem. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about." And it's genuine because, yeah, really, they don't know. They're at this phase of ignorance. The second one is when you shift from not knowing into knowing that there are other people who are facing oppression, and there are other people who don't have your privilege and facing oppression. So what you do is distancing. So we notice how much target members are not like us, but we keep them away still. And there are 3 ways that we keep them away. Because we don't know how to deal with them. So the first one is distancing out, as the person here is doing, so pushing the target group away from our lives. So we would say, I don't have anything against those people. I don't know. I just don't want them next door to me. They can do what they like as long as they stay away or they stay in their neighborhood. So you push the target group away from your life. The second one is distancing down. So negatively evaluating and blaming and openly hating. And here where hate group comes from. So they would say they're sick, they're dirty, they should be in jail. The second way of distancing is distancing up, which is totally opposite. So seeing target group in a valuing way as special or beautiful, but they are like it's us and them. I don't ascribe to them. So saying those people are so spiritual, they seem very close to nature. Oh, they make beautiful music, but it's all they, us and them. So the first example here, I just don't want to live next door to them, is distancing out. The second example is they're dirty, they should be in jail, is distancing down. And this third one is they're so spiritual, amazing, exotic, heroic is distancing up. So any comment or questions? Okay, so let's move to the next level, which is inclusion. It's still here agent-centric, although it's inclusion. And I know we are in the DEI space, but here inclusion, we focus on the similarities between the target members and themselves and ourselves. So it's superficial inclusion. So inclusion understood and applied in a very superficial form. So we may downplay differences or engage in very simplistic celebration of differences. However, this stage is very important to bring people from monocultural mindset into multicultural mindset. So the physical posture would look like those two girls welcoming, embracing the target group. So somebody at this stage would say, we're all the same, I don't see color. If we all act with respect toward each other, then we won't have to dwell on these issues, and there is no issues. So any question, comment? Okay. So now we move from agent-centric skills, to agent-relative skills. And here, awareness, we're at awareness. So we now recognize systems of oppressions and the unearned advantages that we have. We become so aware of them. It becomes so painful for us to process that, and it requires us to sit with this discomfort feeling that we have. At this stage, we feel paralyzed, we feel disoriented by emotions of shame, by emotions of guilt of what we have done to those people before unknowingly. However, this stage or this skill requires determination, effort, and support. At this stage, people might try to jump into solution. However, they need to sit with this discomfort, with these feelings and process them. The physical posture of awareness is frozen or immobile. We feel nauseated or panicked, and we verbalize horror and shame. I cannot believe I have never saw this before, or saying everything I say is oppressive because I am the oppressor. I should have done this, I should have done that. Any question, any comment? Now we move to the last step for the agent, which is, or the last skill, which is allyship. So now we are willing to use our privilege on behalf of justice and liberation for everyone. We don't take actions as saviors of the target groups, nor do we expect recognition or do this in order we want to receive rewards. No, we do it genuinely for the sake of helping those we can help. Allyship doesn't mean just talking on behalf of target group. No, it's listening, speaking out of injustice, and helping other agents understand how they can also come and help. Example is your perspectives and experiences are important. I am here to support you in any way I can. I want to ensure your voice is heard and your needs are met. So these are the 5 stages or the 5 skill sets for the agent group. If you have any comment or question regarding those, please go ahead. Okay. So doing the same, I'd like to give you an example of myself, of one of my identities, like agent identities, which is my ableism, or what my able body. So at first, as an able-bodied person, I have never thought much of this, to be honest, with for the disability community, disabled community, or neurodivergent community. It simply was not part of my reality. So I was indifferent to them. Next is distancing. When I had my son, when he was 3 years old, I realized that he has delayed speech. So I took him to speech therapy, occupational therapy, because he had a little bit of difficulty. Like, he had very mild difficulty for his ability to walk and perform physical stuff. So during occupational therapy and physiotherapy, I have seen lots of kids who have visible disabilities, but I really didn't think about them. I felt like this man here, like distant from them. I don't know, but like this, like I didn't look down to them, but like I didn't feel, even though like my child has mild, now he has ADHD, but like he has mild, uh, I don't know, like mild, not disabilities, but like he has been delayed in his developmental stages, beside his peers, but he would overcome them, the milestones afterward, like later. And the inclusion level is really started when he went to school, and he is now facing some kind of difficulties in learning. He has some learning disabilities and ADHD. And at this stage, when he went to school, I realized about all of these people, and I realized that they all have need access to equal worth and equal rights. And then awareness. After that, I have been in a moment of realizing how much I have been ignorant, and I felt shamed and I feel guilty. I remembered another mom when I had like in a parent meeting. She was really worried, and she was saying, but that was before my son. She was saying, "Oh, I'm so worried that about the teacher, because my daughter doesn't know yet the alphabet." And I looked at her, not understanding why she's exaggerating with her worries. I became into awareness, and I think I haven't reached yet allyship. I'm still in the awareness and processing my journey with my son and with the neurodivergent community. So think about one agent identity of yours, and see how you have gone through all of these 5 stages: the indifference, distancing, inclusion, awareness, and allyship. Yeah, inclusion and allyship are 2 of my favorites. Yeah. So if you want to take a screenshot and reflect back at home, at which stage were you at? Where did you first started? Where are you now? What skills helped you get to this stage? What skills do you need to move forward? Who has empowered you in this journey? What support structure have made a difference? And how can you support others in this journey? And imagine yourself fully empowered in this identity. What does this version of you do, say, feel differently? And don't underestimate self-reflection. Self-reflection is the key to unlock the road toward empowerment. You cannot reach empowerment without self-reflect and find the empowerment from within. So now we will move into empowerment in the workplace. So empowerment is about giving people the freedom and responsibility to accomplish their goals and objectives without telling them exactly what to do, when to do it, or how to do it. So, and there is a difference between genuine versus check the box empowerment. So real empowerment is about creating an inclusive, equitable environment where everyone thrives. While check the box empowerment focus on fulfilling minimum requirement without genuine commitment to meaningful change. And tokenism is affect mental health. So here is a real a quick look at genuine versus check the box empowerment. So genuine empowerment has different elements. So for inclusion, it will be meaningful, and for checking the box, it would be superficial inclusion. For opportunity, if there is genuine empowerment in the workplace, there would be equitable opportunities. But checking the box is just offering, for example, some jobs just to check the box, but not offering equal opportunities for all to access these jobs. Genuine empowerment workplaces would have ongoing development, while checking the box empowerment would have minimal investment on development. Recognition, there is authentic recognition when there is an empowering workplace, recognition of the people who truly work, while the other one is token recognition. There is genuine autonomy and allowing employees to work autonomous, while the one checking the box, the autonomy would be controlled. You would be controlling the employees. Communication is transparent in the genuine empowering workplaces. However, it will be performative communication and formal. Environment is supportive, while environment is superficial diversity efforts in the check the box environment. Accountability is for results for in genuine empowering workplaces. However, checking the box empowering workplaces have lack of accountability. And now I want to take you into the workplace empowerment framework. So if you want to check your empowering your workplace, how empowered it is, you should really look at it from 4 areas. First is the mindset. Second, spaces. Third, discourses. Fourth, practices. So I will talk you through now the mindset. So we all know that mindset, there are 2 types of mindset: fixed mindset that are disempowering, and growth mindset that are empowering. And mindset are the attitudes and beliefs individuals have within the organization. So a disempowering mindset would avoid challenges, would give up easily, would be threatened by others' success, would desire to look smart, would have fixed abilities or think that one has fixed abilities, ignoring feedback. On the other hand, the growth mindset that is empowering embraces challenges, perseveres in the face of failure, find inspiration in others' success, do effort to build new skills, and work on building on ability and accept feedback and criticism. So now we will look at the target group mindset. And even if you are a target, like if you act as a target, like if you are an employee, if you are in an environment, in a workplace that everyone around you, that you are the other, everyone around you has target identity, you are the one who is marginalized and the other. If you have a fixed mindset, you would think that people like me never get promoted. Like if you are the only woman in a male-dominated workplace, you would think that, oh, people like me never get promoted. My potential is predetermined. And this is how things are over here. Nothing can be changed. However, if you embrace a growth mindset, even if you are in a very discriminating workplace, you would have this mentality of you having the ability to grow. You would believe that you have the ability to grow and develop the skills needed to be promoted. My efforts and attitudes determine my ability, and things can always improve, and I have the power to make positive changes. On the other hand, if you are an Asian group, if you are the leader, there are two ways, two mindset leaders acquire. Women, for example, a fixed mindset would say women are not efficient as leaders. A growth mindset would say women bring unique strengths and perspectives that can make them outstanding leaders. A fixed mindset leader would say there is no point in investing time and training. Those people never really change. A growth mindset leader would think that training is really important because everyone has the potential to develop their skills. A fixed mindset leader would think employees with disabilities might struggle too much to meet our standards. A growth mindset leader would look at people with disabilities or employees with disabilities as having the ability to thrive and achieve our standards with appropriate support and accommodation. So that's about mindset. Looking at spaces, when we say spaces, we are speaking about really the physical, the virtual environment of the workplace, your employees and the client, the spaces that your employees and client interact within. So empowering spaces at work are inclusive and accessible to all, have flexible work area, comfortable and supporting the well-being of the employees and everyone. Spaces designed to promote teamwork and autonomy, freedom to personalize workplaces, technology integrated, safe and secure, sustainable and healthy. And spaces, if you want to improve or empower your spaces for your target group, and when I say target group, think of the employee in your workplace that has least privileges, that has least I forgot the word, but that is like for Asian, think of leaders. For target, think of the one who has the smallest rank for the target group. So if you want to create empowering spaces for your employees, especially those at entry-level employees, reflect on these questions. What can I add? What can I add? Or if you are this person, what can you add to your own office space that make me feel empowered, that make me feel more comfortable? Where do I feel more empowered? I'm sure that there are places in the workplace that you feel more comfortable, maybe more empowered than others. Reflect on those. What spaces are accommodating my need, or what spaces are inclusive to me? Is my organization a safe space to me or not? So, and for Asian group, thinking how to make the spaces empowering, like for leaders, if they wanna think how to make their workplace spaces empowering, you can reflect on those. What can we add to the physical design to enhance comfort and support employees' mental and physical well-being? How does my office space make people feel? You have the ability to, as a leader, to make some improvement to your own office space, make it more accommodating, welcoming, and not excluding others. How can I create more accessible and inclusive workplace, accommodating different needs? And how can we ensure that the organization is a safe space for all? So these are some prompt questions to reflect and to improve the spaces in the workplace to make it more empowering. Now we move into discourses. And discourses refer to all the ways people communicate, whether verbally or in writing, formally and informally. Empowering discourses at work are inclusive and respectful, use inclusive and respectful language, encouraging of dialogue and sharing. Policies are empowering to specific groups, address challenged biases within the workplace, commitment to well-being, supportive feedback, open and transparent. So here are a few other prompts for target group like employees, and then for agent group, which are leaders, to improve and make the discourses at the workplace more empowering. So first, what are the policies for employees? What are the policies that empower me? What are the ones that disempower my identity? What empowering policies would I like to exist in my organization? Have I ever been in discussion or meeting that disempowered me? Do I face difficulties in the language used in my workplace, or do I have website inaccessibility of my workplace? Have I ever been addressed in a discriminatory or biased way? On the other hand, reflect on those questions if you are a leader. How can we improve our policies to be more empowering? What empowering policies would my employees like to be added? How can we create and improve an empowering culture, whether through formal meeting, surveys, or chats in digital platforms? Is our website accessible to all differently abled users? And how have we had an audit of the language used in the organization to be inclusive and unbiased? So lastly, we look at practices. Practices are different activities, initiatives, events, engagements that happen in the workplace. Workshops. So empowering practices at work would be workshops and training sessions, team building exercises, mentorship programs, recognition and appreciation events, feedback forums, diversity and inclusion analytics and workshops, wellness programs, innovation labs, social responsibility initiatives, cross-departmental projects. And here are a few reflective questions for employees to think about to make them more empowering, and then for the leaders. Are there any common practices, activities in my organization that make me feel empowered? Are there any common practices, activities in my organization that make me feel disempowered? Write them down. If I were a decision maker, what would I change to create a more empowering organizational culture? On the other hand, if you are an agent or if you are a leader, ask these questions. What empowering activities can be created for our employees to be engaged? What disempowering activities take place in our organization that need to be deleted or that need to be changed? How can I transform my organization to provoke a more empowering culture? And remember that the key to career resiliency is self-empowering. And if please, like the takeaway is, what is one thing that you will do to empower yourself? Think about it. What will you do to empower yourself? And what is one thing that you will do to empower others? I'd like you, if you share in the chat or use the unmute yourself and share what one thing you will do to empower yourself or empower others. For me, I will use journaling to empower, to check in with myself and check how empowered I am, at what level I am. Anyone like to share? Kathy says, my goal is empowering others. Yeah. What's one thing that you have learned from today's workshop? What's your takeaway? We make them included, encourage them to speak out, to make themselves heard. Thank you for sharing, Kathy. Anyone would like to share anything? Or if you want, if you have any questions, these are the references, and that was my workshop today. Please, if you have any question or comment, please unmute yourself. Basha says, always find was to encourage my team and not assume people feel included and empowered. Always find ways to encourage my team and not to assume people feel included and empowered. Yeah. Sometimes we assume that people feel this way. We are more consumed with our feelings and like don't think about what others feel and whether they feel empowered or not. Everyone needs somebody to give them the encouragement to feel empowered. Thank you very much, Pasha. So we have a few minutes left. If anyone want to ask any questions, please please do. Thank you very much, Monica. Thank you everyone for listening, for staying till now. I know it has been a long presentation. Thank you very much. I'm so appreciative.
Thank you, Bayan. I'm stepping in for Amber. Thank you for a great presentation, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.